Welcome to Aligned Ambition, Authentically Kate, where we dive into the truth behind business, mindset, and well-being. I'm Kate Hanson, and I believe success should feel aligned, not exhausting. So join me for inspiring stories, some actionable insights, and the confidence to build a life on your terms. Welcome back to Aligned Ambition, Authentically Kate. I am so proud of kickstarting this show because of the focus that means so much to my heart about well-being, mindset, and just overall feeling aligned that you are living on purpose. Today's guest is someone extra special to me, my handsome husband, Kyle. Now, professionally, Kyle is a division manager with IG Wealth Management, and he's been there for 17 years. And he helps executives, he helps business owners, he helps medical professionals get clear on their finances and create smart strategies for the future. He focuses on the full picture. And I know this from watching him grow and develop over the last 17 years. He is one of the best at this. From portfolio management, insurance planning, to taxes, estates, all of it. Wealth transfer, he is your guy. So intelligent and just a heart of gold. I'm so proud of him. But beyond the titles and the numbers, Kyle is one of the most grounded, thoughtful people that I know. He is someone who brings joy to everybody he meets. We were both laughing the other day because a hockey family said that their son liked to come to his sister's hockey games because the coolest adult he ever met was there, which was Kyle. We thought, what a funny and amazing compliment. So he also happens to be the person that I get to share my life with. And I am very happy that he was willing to come on my podcast as my very first human guest. Thank you so much. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be your first guest, and I'm looking forward to this. This journey has been so fun. So this is great. Thank you.
It's been a wild ride. Just a little bit of background of why it was really important for Kyle to be someone that I spoke to, because I don't have anybody else who is this close to my own personal entrepreneurial journey. And I was very close to his entrepreneurial journey because we met when we both worked in a corporate office. And that's sort of when the sparks flew, but we had to do it undercover because you weren't allowed to date colleagues. So that was also very romantic with some sushi dates at lunch hour, hiding 7 blocks away. But we were both there from the beginning. And it's kind of interesting because when we met, Kyle, we were both kind of corporate 9 to 5. That's what we knew of each other. And we didn't really know each other as wanting to be self-employed or to have a little bit more freedom. So I think it's kind of interesting that we lucked out that we were both of that same mindset. Would you agree?
I think it's pretty funny because I would say I was probably more of a 9 to 3 kind of person because I was on the golf course by 5. And then
Never mind when football started.
You were a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4. But I would be about a 9 to 3. Which explains why well, anyway, we were fortunate enough to meet there, and that's where the sparks flew.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things both of us pulled away from that experience. So with the line of work that Kyle's in, he is somebody that kind of is responsible for his own business. So there's nobody telling you what hours to work. There's nobody like kind of watching over you. There's no boss kind of staying on top of you. So it is very much self-driven, self-motivated. And from the very beginning and watching Kyle kind of find his footing and doing all of those vulnerable things where you have to go and ask your friends and family to like help you out or hear you out or let you practice on them. Watching him go through that was pretty amazing, and just his great attitude about it. But I was wondering, Kyle, like if you, from your perspective, could share a little bit about your journey and what brought you to the work that you're doing right now.
Absolutely. So what really brought me to the wild world of finance is back when I was going to university and even through high school. When I was working, I developed an interest in money, and so from that standpoint, not only from a savings standpoint, but how to help it grow. How do you make it grow? Who can you talk to? Who can you sit with in order to help you through those processes? Because I don't mean to show my age, but back in my day, cell phones weren't readily available and there were no apps. There was nothing like that. You would actually have to meet with somebody physically at their office or in your home, and you would have to turn around and set up paper applications and this and that. Anyway, the industry has changed a ton. And from that standpoint, my interest in money continuously grew as I made more money. So from that perspective, I took an interest in it, attended university, got my finance degree from the U of M. And from that standpoint on, it was always my plan to come into this business in some way, shape, or form. Now, when we had met, of course, we had more of an insurance flavor on things. And to be quite frank, when you come out of university, it's really hard to become an entrepreneur first, just from a maturity standpoint, from a rapport standpoint, from a reputation standpoint. It's pretty difficult. So from that standpoint, again, you and I, we went to Great West Life, now Canada Life, and we got our feet wet, making what I would call real money rather than um, hourly wages. So from that standpoint, that also grew my appetite to want to do more and more for myself. I had that inclination previously when I was going to university, and then as the corporate world, the 9 to 5, so to speak, was pushing us forward, I saw more in to be honest, I saw more in ourselves. Um, and I was the first one to take the plunge. And from that standpoint, that's what got me into this.
Just curious, this wasn't on my list of questions, but who supported you while you were starting out?
I would say, well, yourself
So if you just say that.
and nobody else. No, I had a lot of support, and I think that support though came from the relationships that we had, and from that standpoint, we have those relationships to this day. Have they changed? Some of them have. Some of them have not. But all in all, it was your belief in me that always allowed the support to get us to where we wanted to be. And it didn't happen overnight. Um, so let's make that clear. Uh, but
It did not.
the journey itself was a lot of the fun.
I feel like you and I could have our own podcast show on just sharing the wild and crazy experiences we had of like the lowest of lows and how somehow we banded together and got through some of the craziest experiences. We'll definitely share those in the future, and maybe one or two will come up today. But yeah, as you say that, I just realized we have been through so much to get here. I'm just even more proud of us when you're saying all that. The other thing, though, Kyle, as I said in the introduction, so I know this, but for the people listening, when you say in your title, division manager, what does that mean when it comes to your career?
So my career's taken a couple different turns. One, I was a financial advisor from day one, and I still practice that. That is a large piece of what it is that I do. I love working with my clients. I love onboarding new people, meeting new people. It's just fantastic. Um, through my maturity process, another option that we had was to kind of balance another side of things, and that is the managerial side. I took that on in 2013, I believe. Maybe it's
The year after Emma was
2014.
born?
I think so, something like that. I don't
There.
recall.
Okay.
I could get those details. No, but from that standpoint, another the reason that I did it was because I wanted to invite other people into this business and allow them to turn around and establish their own drive and create their own self-worth, their increase their ability to help people. And I took a real joy in seeing the success of others as well, while contributing, helping contribute, I should say, not contributing, but helping contribute to that through mentorship, through training, through um, truly being, I'm going to say, somebody in the sidecar while they're riding the bike. So that's kind of sort of how I saw myself. I did not want to be the one I ride my own bike, but I don't want to be the one riding the bike for you. I want you to ride the bike and I'll be in that sidecar.
Kind of like some of those party bikes that we saw where somebody stands and you go, bike harder as they party downtown in Calgary or
Oh, yeah, we've been through it. Hey, Kate, you're frozen. I don't know if you're gone. Oh, there we go.
something technical came up. Um, okay, sorry. I think that we've still caught what you were saying. I don't know when that cut off, but I wanted to also bring in a couple things that, like, the real purpose of this podcast is to share with other people who are sales professionals, business owners, entrepreneurs, some of the realities of the personal journey that you're on. Like, regardless of your industry or business, I really believe there are shared experiences that we don't talk about very much because everybody wants to kind of have a tough upper lip and you see successful people and they're not complaining, they're not sharing any hardships, so like neither should I. So I'm just curious, when you think about your journey, are there any defining moments that stand out for you that kind of shaped how you show up today or how you lead other newer advisors? Like, are there any core moments that you're like, it kind of changed how you approach your work and your life?
Great question. I would say that we've had a number of situations that have helped us grow. Because even if there's a loss or if there's something that didn't work out in your way, I think we've always turned around and learned from it. And always, our ultimate goal is always to improve. And so I find that when that's the case, that's always been at the core of our improvement. So I feel like I'm not really answering your question, but um,
No, you
is there
you
one
are.
standing? Is there one standing piece?
Where you realized, like, or maybe you were on the brink of, can I even do this? Like, was there something that happened that you were like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna keep pushing forward.
Honestly, I think it was from day one. Um, the hardships that we had, I knew that we had to persevere and we had to get through on it. I would call it probably kind of sort of getting through the quicksand in order to get to the beach. And it took time. Um, y- I'm more patient than you are. But
Very.
um, we knew that together that we would just uh, drudge through it, and we knew that there was a beautiful beach on the other side. It was just a matter of time before we got there, and and I think that also helped our professionalism, our reputation. We never took the easy way out, so to speak.
No, and I think too, something that can't be taken for granted is that, like, not that we did not argue and want to throttle each other at different times, but it was never like this person's going to bail on me. Like, to have somebody who sees your potential we both don't know what the outcome's going to be, right? That's entrepreneurship or working for yourself. Like you assume the best, but you don't know. You don't know what could happen. The fact that we both saw each other's visions and like held that vision for each other, I think that that goes a long way when you have that kind of a support person or a person who's kind of on the journey with you.
I agree 1,000%. I think if I'm speaking with regards to you and I would say that we have three visions, maybe five. We have visions for our kids individually, but we have visions
With
for
them, they're part of that conversation.
100%, 100%, even if they don't want to be on some days. Uh, but I would say that there's also a vision that I have for my business. There's a vision that you have for your business. And then as well, there's a vision of all of us. And that would include where we want to be as a whole. I know where I want to take my business and where I envision where that's going to be. And I know you do as well. And I think at the end of the day, um, our ultimate goal is to see everybody succeed from our family, and we don't want to limit that success in any way, shape, or form. So we've always been willing to make those sacrifices, whether it be time, whether it be schedules, whether it be setbacks in the road. We know that, you know what, sometimes we just need a little pick me up. And I
I
find that
think
we've been quite good for that.
we plan for our success as well. Like, I remember it being very surprising to people. I think we weren't even engaged yet when we combined our finances. And I'm not saying that's for everyone. I know that's not for everyone, but we were very quick on that and immediately kind of took our roles of like, I like to budget, you like to save. And so we had constant money conversations to stay aligned. And that was kind of a practical tool at the beginning. But I think in the end, it really bonded us because we're on the same page when it comes to finances, which I think are really really important, more than people acknowledge sometimes, especially if you've got big goals. Because if you know you're going to be starting a business and not making much money, even when I decided to leave corporate, I remember we were having our second daughter and you said, like, you've got to be able to replace this amount of income. I think it was like $1,000 a month. If you can do that with whatever else you want to do, then we're okay if you leave that position, because that was just like the minimum buffer. And I remember it wasn't like a you can't do that, this could be hard. It was like we just solutioned. Okay, how can we do it? Okay, this is how we can do it. And then that planning piece, we always talked money, like at every step. So I don't think even if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, carrying the weight of money stress or money worries by yourself isn't good. That's going to do you in. You need to find somebody that you can talk it through with, be able to take feedback. It's not always easy or great. Like Kyle and I, pretty similar in our spending and our savings mentality. But if you don't talk about it, that can come up in other areas. It could come out in the wrong ways where you're expressing frustration, but the person doesn't know where it's coming from.
1,000%. Also, I
I
would also
want
say too that we also have to sometimes reinvest in ourselves in order to achieve those goals, right? And
which can be hard to support when you don't necessarily have income. Like both of us deciding to invest in different things where we're both like, are we in this? Because this is going to make it tight for us, or this is going to be a stretch for us. So it's not that we're always taking the easy route or just saving and saying no to risk. Like we're taking risks together.
absolutely, less often do we do. I'm going to go 2 feet in where the other individual, where our support network says no. We would have the conversation that we'd want to both jump in with both feet. And yes, to your point, we've been super open, and I guess with regards to some of the aha moments, our communication styles, albeit very different, we work very well together. Um, Kate communicates extremely well. I communicate much less well. Um,
That's now
or I am
recorded.
always improving my communication.
Okay. So obviously you and I can talk on these subjects forever, and I'll probably have you on 10 more times because I know people have already asked for that. But I want to ask you a couple quick things before we log off. Um, One of the things was, and if it's something that just like a symptom or something that comes up, right? Like whatever first comes to mind, how do you personally recognize when you're out of alignment with yourself in your work?
I would say typically my confidence diminishes a bit.
And how do you know that? Like, what are the symptoms of that?
Um, I would say that my approach to things, I'm a little more erratic, not sporadic, but erratic. Um, I tend to sleep less. I think about things too long. Um, and I would say I don't take care of myself. So from that standpoint, that's how I kind of get a read on it.
Okay. Um, Another thing that I wanted to ask you was, well, I had so many questions for you, but one of them is when you think of success now, perhaps versus when we started or when you started like 17 years ago, I think you said. Um, when you think of success now, what does that look like to you versus then? Or just like, has it changed? Do you look at success differently now?
I know we were supposed to read the questions or be prepared for questions like this, but this is one that I've never thought of. I
Well,
would
you know
say
what? There's no right or wrong answer, but I just think, just with wisdom and experience, you've had some big financial wins, right? But then we've also had some big personal wins. Or like we've done things that stretched us and we challenged ourselves and we're proud of ourselves, or like sticking with it for 17 years. Like I remember it, like you said, it takes time. I can't remember when we started to feel the tide shift, but like there was our definition of success then was like, oh my God, if you could get a couple clients, or oh my gosh, if we could have like a steady amount of money in our checking account where we're not depleted down to the penny. You know what I mean? Like, so even though we always had big goals, we're going to be millionaires, we're going to have a huge net worth, but like, has your definition of success through all those experiences changed a little bit or been added to?
I would say that with success, we've always been able to remain humble, and our humility, I think, has always shone through. We've never changed our values or our characteristics. So has success changed us? I feel as though it has relieved some stresses, but overall, has it changed us? I still feel as though we value things similarly to when even there may have been some struggles. And and I feel as though we will always want to remain humble and
Do you
understanding of
have,
other people's situations.
aside from the financial, is there one big definition of success to you for your life? Like if you were to look back and say, I was successful, what do you think that that would mean? What would come up for you when I say that?
First answering is yes, I am successful. And what does that look like? I would say feel as though my success shines through based on it shines through my personality and my willingness and ability to share my successes with others to ensure that they become successful. I think that's what breeds success
Success.
for me.
So, okay. So, but when I'm thinking of how you define success, what I think I heard you say was that success to you is being able to be in a position that you can help other people be successful and
I would
that
agree with
you
that.
can stay focused on your values, that you don't lose your values, that you maintain your values the whole way, that that's a definition of success for you.
Yes, or call it we can remain grounded.
Grounded. So that's an important symbol of your success, that you stayed grounded through it all. Okay. So then the last thing I'm going to say is if you were to give your younger self or somebody starting out working for themselves in sales, starting a new business or like owning a business who are maybe in that like first 5 years, is there any advice that you would give them about the journey ahead or about where they're at?
Loaded question.
But
Yes,
well,
they're
specifically when it comes to taking care of themselves, when it
taking care of
comes
themselves. I
to
would say
like them getting through it.
I feel as though education is a differentiator. And we've always held education. I know that from an entrepreneurship standpoint, you can take on some risk. In my experience, I truly value education because education will also open up the connections with the people that you want to do business with.
So,
Um,
but these people are already in business. They're already in there. They're starting out. They're creating something. Are you saying continue to learn, like keep looking for resources to keep your education going, or
I would say on all fronts, because I'm going to say that you're going to make the proper connections in order to establish business connections from an education standpoint. Um, I would say that you need to continue your education because once you stop learning, you'll stop growing. And our ultimate goal is to continuously grow, whether that be from a business perspective, whether that be from an education standpoint, whether that be from a personality standpoint. You always want to better yourself. I just find that improvement goes a long way. Um, and then equally, I would also say that we want to remain humble and accept people's feedback, be more of a listener rather than somebody who tells people. Um, you want to
I love
invite
that.
conversations.
I love that because I think when you're starting out, especially, you want to prove that you know your stuff. You want to prove yourself. And it's almost in that energy that you're showing your naivety or your ignorance. So I really love that feedback. And we have some great stories about Kyle having some of his most success at the times he chose to listen and not prove himself. So that's really, really great feedback, especially as you're starting out. Just acknowledge where you're at, own it, and let everybody know. Like, I'm open to advice and assistance and guidance, but definitely go to people that are where you want to be or who are on a similar journey. Don't ask people who aren't in the arena. There's the expression of like the people in the stands. If they're not on the court with you, they shouldn't really get an opinion of your work or how you do. I also believe in that. Like, stay open, stay humble, but be sure that you're intentional about who you're leaning on and reaching out to. Um, that's our time. Kyle, I know we're gonna do a bunch more of these, whether you like it or not, because there's been a lot of interest in getting to know you better and knowing more about you and your approach. And I really want to share like even my perspective on how you've supported me and some of the things you've taught me because we do look at things very different. And I think that that's helped both of us. But thank you so much for being on, Kyle. I really appreciate it. My first guest.
Hey, thanks for having me. And you know what? Kind of funny with regards to your analogy. I think I've been in the locker room with you a lot where we've strategized and things like that. And then I've always been in the stands as a fan. But is today the first day that I've ever jumped on the court with you or the ice or the field or the what have you?
Interesting. And are we on the same team? I think so. So am I the captain or are you?
I'm always just the assistant. I know that. I know where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. He's being ridiculous. If anybody knows the Hanson family, we are notoriously competitive between us and our girls. It might be not spoken of or silent, but we are all extremely competitive, especially with each other. So he's just pretending to be really humble and nice about that today. But
Happy wife, happy life.
he's playing the smart game, the long game. Okay, thank you so much, Kyle. If anything about this episode spoke to you, resonated, or if it's something that you have opinions on, whether you're an entrepreneur, sales professional, business owner, and you have a spouse who is in a similar position or they're in a completely different line of work. It's another interesting perspective when you are completely detached from each other's realities and how do you support each other. But please share this episode with friends or families. And we're on every social media platform because, guys, I'm also in my first 3 years of this business and we're everywhere. So tag me, comment, share with us what you took away from this or what your insights are. I'd love to share and promote your journey as well. Again, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate you so much.
Kate, thanks for having me. This was lots of fun. I look forward to next time. And maybe next time we'll be in the same room and
Our tech will work.
I will also not always wear a tie.
That's a shame. You look darn good in that tie. I like it. Okay, well, thank you, thank you. And yeah, well, see you at the next episode,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
much for being here and for sharing this podcast with those who need to hear it. It truly makes a world of difference in getting this message out there. And I would love to connect with you. So go check out my website at kate-hanson.co. And remember, success is best when it's aligned. See you next time.